You are afraid. Not of hell, not exactly. You are afraid of the in-between. You are afraid that when that moment comes, when the room gets quiet and the breathing changes, you will not be ready. You have been going to Mass your whole life. You have said your rosary in the dark, in the car, in hospital waiting rooms. You have confessed. You have tried. You have gotten back up more times than you can count. And still, there is a question you have never said out loud, not even to a priest, not even to God in so many words. What if I am not enough? What if all of it, all of those years of trying, what if it was not enough to matter in that final moment? Sister, hear me. I know you have been carrying that question, and today you are going to understand something about that moment that will change the way you face the rest of your life. You will not face that moment alone. That is not a greeting card line. That is not gentle encouragement to make you feel better for a few minutes. That is the living, active, Catholic truth that the Church has always held, and that fear has been slowly convincing you to forget. Stay with me, because what I am about to tell you about your guardian angel is something most people have never been taught, and once you hear it, you will not be able to unhear it. There is a particular kind of fear that lives in faithful women, and it has been living in you long enough. Let me name something most women never say out loud. It is not the fear of someone who has never tried. It is the fear of someone who has tried for decades, who has shown up, who has sacrificed, who has prayed through things that would have made another woman quit, and who still, in the quietest part of the night, wonders if it was enough. If she was enough. You have watched people you love die. Maybe your mother, maybe your husband, maybe a friend who prayed more faithfully than you thought you did. And in that final hour, a question pressed itself into your heart and never fully left. What happened in that moment? Was she afraid? Was she received? Was she alone? You came back to Mass the following Sunday, because that is what a faithful woman does. She keeps going, but the question stayed. It has quietly been shaping the way you think about your own end. You do not talk about it because you think a good Catholic woman should not be afraid of dying. You think fear is a sign of weak faith, and so you carry it alone. Sister, that burden was never meant to be carried alone. The lie is that you will face that threshold alone. Fear works slowly. It does not come in all at once and announce itself as a lie. It comes in quietly, mixed in with real grief and genuine humility, and it says things like, "You are not holy enough for God's mercy to be personal. You have failed too many times. God's grace is real, but maybe not real enough for all of your specific failures. And the guardian angel? That is for children. That prayer you learned at age 6. Sweet, yes. But when the real moment comes, you will be on your own. I want you to hear how dangerous that is. Not difficult, not discouraging, dangerous. Because a woman who believes she will be alone at the threshold stops trusting. She starts trying to accumulate enough holiness to cover the gap she believes exists between her and God's mercy. And that is not faith. That is exhaustion disguised as faithfulness. That is fear doing what fear does. driving you away from surrender and toward frantic effort. The truth that breaks that lie is not a technique. It is a person. It is a promise. It is a gift given to you before you were born, and it has never been revoked. God does not give a guardian to abandon you at the door of eternity. Open your heart to Psalm 91, not a children's psalm, not a poem for bedtime prayers at age 7, a covenant declaration. He will command his angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways. In all your ways. Not in the years when your faith was bright and your devotion was strong. Not in the seasons when you showed up perfectly. In all your ways, including the ways that were messy, broken, humbling, and hard, including the way that leads to your final breath. That word guard does not have an expiration clause. God does not say, until you are old enough to manage on your own. He does not say, unless you have accumulated too many failures for the protection to apply. He says all. And the church, for 2,000 years, has understood this promise to mean exactly what it says. That the angel assigned to you in the beginning accompanies you all the way to the end, not as a figure of speech, not as a poetic comfort for the living, as a real, active, assigned, faithful presence. The assignment was given before your first breath. It carries through the last. Now hear this next part carefully. In the 16th chapter of Luke, there is a man who never appears to win anything in this life. He sits at the gate of a rich man's house. He suffers visibly. He is overlooked by everyone who could have helped. The world sees nothing worth noticing in him, and then he dies. Luke does not give us a scene of triumph. He simply says he died. And then, and this is the line I need you to stay with, the angels carried him, not guided him from a distance, carried him to the place of rest, to Abraham's side, the one the world dismissed, the one whose suffering went unnoticed by everyone but God. And I want to ask you something. How many years have you felt like you were sitting at that gate? How many years of faithful, quiet, unnoticed prayer? How many years of carrying the family, while the family did not notice the weight you were under? The Word of God is clear about what happens to the woman who sat at that gate and kept trusting. She is carried. Your angel has been with you in every waiting room, every sleepless night, every silent prayer. Your angel was assigned before your first breath. Sit with that for a moment, before you knew what sin was, before you made the choices you regret, before the year that broke you, before the chapter you never talk about, before the season when you walked away and were afraid God would not receive you back. Before all of that, your angel was already assigned, already present, already accompanying your life. The assignment did not change when your story got complicated. It did not change when you fell and stayed down longer than you should have. It did not change when your faith went dry and Sunday Mass felt like something you were enduring rather than receiving. Your angel was there, in the silence, in the hospital room, in the night you cried after everyone else was asleep, in the moment you lit a candle because you did not know what else to do. All of it witnessed, all of it accompanied. And your angel has not been a passive observer. The angel has been working, interceding, and preparing preparing for a final moment that your angel has been moving toward alongside you your entire life. Stay with me, because what that angel actually does in that room is the word you have been waiting to hear. Your angel does not observe that final moment. Your angel acts. The church has always distinguished between what she formally defines and what she holds in her living tradition, in her saints, in her Tsas wisdom, in the faith that has been passed from mother to daughter across generations of Catholic women who have faced death and accompanied the dying. And that living tradition has always known three things about what happens at the hour of death. The first thing is presence. You will not be alone in that room. I do not care if there is no family gathered. I do not care if no one has come. I do not care if the hour comes in the middle of the night, and the ward is quiet, and the world has moved on to other things. You will not be alone. Your guardian angel is there, not as a symbol for the living to find comfort in after the fact, as a real, active, assigned spiritual presence whose entire purpose reaches its fullness precisely in that moment. The second thing is intercession. Your angel carries your life of prayer before God. Everything you brought to God, imperfectly, distractedly, with more distraction than devotion on most days, exhausted, hoping, sometimes barely managing. Your angel knows every one of those prayers. The angel has been present for every single one. And the third thing is escort. The Catholic tradition, the testimony of the saints, the pastoral teaching of the church across the centuries, all of it points to this reality. The soul does not pass through that threshold alone. It is accompanied. It is escorted by the one who was assigned to it before it ever drew its first breath. This is not imagination. This is not a beautiful metaphor designed to make dying feel easier for the people left behind. This is what the church has always believed about a God who does not abandon his daughters. Your prayers were never lost. Heaven has been keeping everyone. Now I need to speak directly to the guilt, because this is where most faithful women get stuck. You are afraid that your failures, the ones only God sees, the ones you cannot fully name even in confession, will define you at that threshold. You are afraid that the private record will be what determines how that final moment goes for you. And I need to say something clearly, without softening it past the point of truth. The church does not teach that you earn your escort. The guardian angel is not a reward given to women who achieved sufficient holiness. The angel is a gift given freely, permanently, to a sinner who is walking home. What you call your failures, God calls your battlefield. The woman who kept coming back to Mass after falling, she is exactly the woman the angel was sent to carry. Not the woman who never fell, the woman who got back up. You have been measuring yourself against a standard the church never asked you to meet. You have been asking, am I holy enough for mercy to be personal? And the answer the church gives back across 2,000 years of pastoral wisdom is this: mercy is not something you become worthy of. It is something you receive. It is something freely given. And your guardian angel is one of the ways it is given. Now, do you remember that passage in Revelation? Chapter 5, verse 8. The elders before the throne, each one holding a golden bowl full of incense. And the text tells us plainly what that incense is. It is the prayers of the saints, your prayers. Every rosary prayed when you felt nothing. The Mass you sat through, exhausted and distracted, barely keeping your eyes open. The confession you made through tears, because you were so tired of bringing the same failure back again. The candle you lit for the child who has grown cold to the faith. The night prayer you whispered into what felt like complete heavy silence to us. The prayer where you did not know if anyone was listening, and you said it anyway. None of it was lost, not one word, not one tear. Heaven has been keeping every single one. The bowls are full, and your angel knows the weight of what is in them. Declare this with me. My prayers are not wasted. Heaven has been keeping every one. I want to tell you about a woman, not a famous woman, not a canonized saint, a woman from a parish like the one many of you grew up in. The kind of woman you almost overlook because her faithfulness is so consistent it almost becomes invisible. She prayed her rosary every morning before anyone else in the house was awake. She went to daily Mass when her health allowed. She had buried a husband and outlived 2 of her children and carried grief that would have bent a person with less faith entirely in half. She did not speak much about spiritual experiences. She was not dramatic. She kept showing up. When she died, at home in her own bed, with one of her daughters sitting beside her, her daughter described what the room was like in that final hour. She said it was hard in the beginning. She said her mother's breathing was labored, and her face was tense. And then something changed. She said at some point in the final part of the hour, her mother's face changed. Not dramatically, not in a way you could describe in medical terms. She said it went quiet. Not the quiet of absence, the quiet of arrival, like something had changed in the room. Like a presence had come in that she could not see, but that she could feel. She said, it was as if someone had come to take her, and there was no fear in it. There was peace in it. A peace that did not feel like her mother's own peace, but like a peace that had come from somewhere else and settled over her. She told this story quietly once to a small group of women at a parish dinner. She did not sensationalize it. She simply said she was not alone. I know she was not alone. The Church has always known this. A holy death is not accidental. It is not something that happens to a lucky few. It is prepared by a lifetime of faithfulness, imperfect and returning and real, and it is received by a God who sends a companion to carry what the soul cannot carry alone across that threshold. Say this out loud right now. I will not face that moment alone. Write it down if you need something on paper. Say it to the woman sitting next to you at Mass this Sunday. Send this message to the woman in your life who is walking someone she loves toward the end right now. Because there is a woman watching this today who is not thinking about her own death. She is thinking about her mother's, or her husband's, or her friend who has been told that the treatments have stopped working. And this word is for her too. You are not watching helplessly. Every prayer you are praying for the person you love is going into the bowls. Every rosary you have offered for them. Every Mass you have attended on their behalf. Every candle you have lit in a church when you did not know what else to do, but show up and place a small flame in the darkness and say, Lord, I am here. I am still here. None of it is wasted. None of it goes unheard. The angel assigned to the person you love has been present for every prayer you have offered on their behalf. You are not outside the door of that final moment. You are participating in it through the communion of the faithful, through intercession, through the love that prayer makes real. God knew this moment before you were born. He prepared a companion for you before your first breath. Your faithfulness, broken, partial, returning, imperfect, ordinary, and real, has been witnessed. Every single day of it has been accompanied. The final moment is not a test you can fail by being human. It is not a courtroom where the private record is read and the verdict is uncertain. It is a door that was always going to open, and the one waiting on the other side of it has known your name your entire life. You were made for more than this world. Heaven has known that about you since before you arrived here, and the guardian assigned to you has been walking with you toward that moment, step by step, year by year. Through every season you thought you were failing, through every prayer you thought went into silence and stayed there. Through every Mass you barely made it through every night when everyone else was asleep, and you were alone with God and your fear and your love and your imperfect, faithful heart. The assignment does not expire. The presence does not withdraw at the threshold. The escort is real. Let me pray over you right now. Father, I bring before you every woman hearing this word today who is afraid. The woman who has been faithful for decades and still wonders in the quiet of the night if she has been faithful enough. The woman who carries private failures she has never been able to fully lay down. The ones she has confessed and received absolution for, and still carries the weight of because forgiveness and the feeling of being forgiven have not arrived on the same day. The woman who watched someone she loved die and has been carrying unanswered questions in her heart ever since. Questions about what happened in that room. Questions she is almost afraid to bring to prayer. The woman who is afraid of her own end. Not because she has stopped loving you, Lord, but because she loves you and is afraid she has not loved you well enough. Father, let your truth be louder right now than every lie fear has been whispering. Let her know, in a way that goes deeper than words, that you have always provided a companion, that the assignment did not expire, that the escort is real, that the angel assigned to her before her first breath will be present at her last. Remind her that every prayer she has prayed has been received, that every tear she has cried in faith has been collected and held, that every return she has made after falling has been witnessed and honored. Give her peace about the hour of her death, not a peace that comes from having earned it, but a peace that comes from knowing you are personal, you are merciful, you are present, and you have never for one moment left her side. For the woman watching this, who is walking someone she loves toward that threshold right now, Father, give her grace. Give her eyes to see that she is not helpless. Her prayers are reaching into that room. Her faithfulness is participating in something she cannot fully see. And for the souls of the faithful departed, the mothers, the grandmothers, the friends, receive them, Lord, in the mercy that was always bigger than their failures, and give those who loved them peace. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. You were given a guardian before your first breath, and that guardian will be there at your last. That is the promise built into the faith you have been carrying your whole life. And tonight, I want to invite you to do something very simple. Pray the guardian angel prayer, not the way you learned it at age 6, not as a childhood recitation, but the way a woman prays it who has lived long enough to understand that she needs it. Pray it as a reclaiming. Pray it as a decision. Pray it as a daughter of God who has decided to trust the company she has been given. You are not the first woman to stand at the edge of this fear. The Church has been walking daughters to the threshold for 2,000 years, and she has walked every one of them in the knowledge that they would not go alone. Come back next time, because we are going to go deeper into what the Church teaches about what happens in the moment the soul leaves the body, and why the women who understood it were not afraid to face it. Stay close. There is more that you need to hear, and it belongs to you.